Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you, and this is going to be a deck profile on, an updated deck profile on my 5th Omni deck. As you all know, this is my competitive deck for Buddy Fight. I did make a lot of changes to it since Houston. I did play in the Buddy Fight tournament on Sunday, and let me say this, guys. Looking back on it, I really messed up on my sideboard. Even though through 5 rounds I went X1, and if I would have won my round 6, I had a shot of getting into top 8. But my side, I really messed up, not thinking about what else was out there, and there was a lot of cards in there that I didn't put in there, and it really made me mad thinking back about it. But I had a lot of fun at the Buddy Fight tournament. I actually did really well through. I played 72 Pillars. I played 72 Pillars. I played my friend Christian, who was playing Battle Poets. I played the Mirror Match. What did I play in round 2? I might still have it written on... round 2, I played Ozzy to Haka. That's what it was. Round 1, I played 72 Pillars. Second round, I played Ozzy to Haka. Third, I played Battle Poets, which is Christian. Fourth, I played... okay, honestly, I guess I don't remember. But I know I played... I do know I played 172 Pillars deck, 1 Ozzy to Haka deck, Christian's Battle Poets. I played 1 Mirror Match. And then the other deck that I played, which I have now found the deck in Buddy Fight that I hate, and I think I hate this more than Bermuda Triangle for Vanguard, and that's Guardians. I absolutely despise Guardians. That was what I lost to in round 6, and I'll admit I was salty about that because Guardians, for some weird reason to me, make no sense as far as being fair. Now, if you're sitting there going, well, you're playing 5th Omni, and 5th Omni Lord Drum is a broken card. That is right. But most of the time, my center is wide open. And if I just don't have ways to kick my skills or protect myself, I'm just screwed. Guardians, every turn, they can gain a life and a gauge for nothing, as long as they have that one item equipped. I don't know what it's called. I think it's the Fist. They have the Fist item, and then they have their set spell. If they have those 2 cards on the field, they gain a life and a gauge every turn for nothing. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but an extra gauge and an extra life at every single freaking turn, that is definitely something that... you know, that really helps them out because they have more gauge to pay, and usually the gauge they gain, they're just going to pay off. So essentially, they're not having to spend the full amount of gauge that they normally have to because it's a free gauge anyway. I hate Guardians to the point where if I go to another Buddy Fight tournament and I face another Guardian player, I might literally just say, look, you can have it. I'm just not playing Guardians. This deck it taps a rage in me, guys. I have played it. I've played 3 different players that have played it, and I've only lost in major tournament to one of them. But that deck just, I don't know why. I think it's just because all the free life engage, because through 3 turns and to see the advantage they gain out of it is just insane. But, you know, I did make a lot of changes to the deck. The new set had recently just dropped. I didn't have a lot of time to test play the new cards, so I didn't play them. And the reason that is I just don't like playing cards in a deck that I'm going into in a big tournament that I haven't had a chance to really test play that much. So I made the changes to it that I wanted to, and I wish I could go back and play the tournament with this deck. Because I think it would have been better. I will say that the person that I did lose to in the mirror match actually ended up winning the tournament. So congratulations to him for representing 5th Omni. I know there was, including me and him, I know there was at least 2 other 5th Omni players there. It was nice to see my deck won the tournament. But anywho, really enjoyed getting to play him. Congratulations to him. We actually shared some ideas about the deck, and I actually learned some stuff from him too. I did kind of mess around with a couple of things that he tried, but it just didn't fit me. It fit him great. I think we did go to game 3. I think we did. Because I know game 1 I got. Yes, it was game 1 he got me. Game 2 I got him, and then game 3 he just was able to. He just drew absolutely insane, and I just didn't really. I didn't draw a bad game 3. He just drew insanely good. But congratulations to him. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. But props to him. I really enjoyed the game. Really, really, really good job, man. Congrats. I hope I get to face you again in another tournament. So anyway, this is my 5th Omni deck as it is now. It is not the same that it was at Houston, but this is the way it's playing now. And I will say I really enjoy this build. It's the most consistent it's ever been. So let's just jump straight into it. So like I said, this is 5th Omni, so you got your Dragon World flag, and then you have your Buddy Monster. So I will explain the Buddy when I get to him in the deck. So for monsters for size 3s, we play 4 copies of 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Hellfire Sword Doble. This card is insane. Size 3 with 8,000 power, 5,000 defense, and 2 crits. This card cannot be called to center. Pay 2 gauge and put the top card of your deck into this card's soul for its call cost. When you are dealt damage, put a card from your opponent's gauge into his or her drop zone and put the top card of your deck into your gauge. This ability activates once per turn. He has natural double attack and soul guard, so you do have to hit him twice to kill him. So, really good card. And then for the last size 3 is we play 3 copies of 5th Omni Super Cavalry Dragon Magical Deity Blade Mizaru. This was one of those cards that the guy played who won in Houston. I was not sure about this card, and I didn't get a time to play test it, but he used it against me, and after a couple of times of him kicking this skill, I really saw why this card is good. Like I said, I didn't get a chance to play test it. But afterwards, he went into the deck. He's actually really, really good. So thanks. I will say thanks for showing me how busted this thing is. He's a size 3 monster with 7,000 power, 3 crits, and 5 defense. He cannot be called to the center. Call cost is pay 1 gauge and put a card with 5th Omni in its card name from your drop zone into this card's soul. So he is a little weird if you play him on your first turn. If you don't have a 5th Omni card in your drop zone, it kind of hurts him there, but there are ways that you can get around that. When you are dealt damage, draw a card. This ability activates once per turn. He has Soul Guard and Counterattack. And for him to be able to allow you to draw another card is really good because it helps you cycle this deck. He made a really good point. He said since this card came out, and after the him literally showing me how stupid this guy is, 5th Omni has become really a size 3 heavy deck because your size 3 monsters are just really, really good. They are a lot more size 3 heavy now because for the longest time you didn't play any size 3s. But it is a great. The deck now has another option besides Drum, which is nice. Speaking of Drum, we play obviously our 4 copies of 5th Omni Dragon Lord Drum, which is by far the best card in this deck. I still am looking for one more of the Spirit form. Anywho, Drum, size 2 monster, 6,000 power, 3 crits, and 5 defense. He is an Omni Lord, so he can be played as a 1-of in any other deck. This card cannot be called to the center. Pay 1 gauge and put the top card of your deck into this card's soul when he's called. When you are dealt damage, if your life is 6 or less, destroy a monster on your opponent's field, and he has Soul Guard. So, he's insane. Drum is insane. And then for the last size 2 is our Buddy Monster. 4 copies of 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Merrick SD. He is, like I said, he's also the Buddy Monster. He is a size 2 monster with 5,000 power, 2 crits, and 1k defense, so 1,000 rapier stats. This card cannot be called to the center. If you have another original size 2 or greater armor dragon on your field, this card's size is reduced by 2. So pretty much every monster that he's going to be on the field with, he's going to be treated as a size 0. Because every monster in this deck is a size 2 or greater armor dragon, except the size 0s and the one size 1 that I play. But he's going to be on the field most of the time. And then his other skill is Counter. Choose an armor dragon on your field for this turn. It gets plus 1,000 power and plus 1,000 defense and Penetrate, and you take 1 damage. So you can use this skill to kick off your 5th Omni skills on your opponent's turn, which really hurts them. So that's pretty good. So like I said, that's all the size 2s. The deck only plays one size 1 now, and that is 3 copies of 5th Omni Armor Dragon, Flare Summoner Rondo. Call cost is pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, you may put up to 1 monster with 5th Omni in its card name from your drop zone into your hand. If you do, you take 1 damage. Size 1 with 4,000 power, 2 crit, 1 defense. Literally, he is here just to fetch your monsters back to the from the drop zone. So it's the only reason he's there. And then for the other monster, we're playing 3 size 0s and 3 copies of 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon Drunk Sword Show. He is a size 0 monster with 4,000 power, 2 crits, and 3 defense, which is really good, and his ability is real simple. When this card attacks, you either can destroy him or take 1 damage. So you can use him, place him in your center, attack with him for 2 crits, and then when he attacks, you can either kill him off and then attack with your item, or you can pop off one of your 5th Omni skills. So he really is good. I was able to finally pick up copies of this while we were at Houston, and in test playing, he is amazing. I wish I would have got more time to play test him, because I picked him up Friday night, and I just really didn't get time between Friday and Saturday to test it. I wish I did, because I love this card. We are only playing 4 items now. Normally in Dragon World is a world that you play 6 items at least, but I ended up cutting one of them, and I only play 4 copies of 5th Omni, Dragon Sword, and Profang now. Equip cost is pay 1 gauge and you take 1 damage. If you're dealt damage other than by attack, you gain a life. So this helps you offset a lot of the costs that you pay for a lot of your spells and counter spells that require you to take damage. So, or for your buddy monster, or even show. 4 green dragon shield, 4 blue dragon shield. If you've been playing buddy fight, you know what these do, so I'm not even going to bother explaining what those do. For the rest of the spells, we play 4 copies of Drago Desperate, because this card is just too good not to max out on. It is cast cost of pay 1 gauge and take 1 damage, and then it's counter speed, rest a size 2 or less monster on your opponent's field, or an item on your opponent's field. So, really good card, especially with dragon forces being all over the place. This is a way to neutralize them. Just go, oh, rest. And if you do it to the Sun Dragon one, they gotta have Ball Exciting in their hand to restand it. If you're playing against Star Dragon World and you rest it the second they enter their battle phase, you don't have to worry about that quadruple attack. When Darkness Dragon World comes out, you won't have to worry about milling your deck or them gaining life. So it is definitely a 4 of. 4 copies of Drago Wisdom Knowledge of the 5th Omni. You may only cast this card if you have a card with 5th Omni in its card name on your field. Cast cost is you take 1 damage, put the top card of your deck into the gauge, and draw a card. So it gives you a gauge and lets you draw another card, so helps you cycle the deck. Next, we play 3 of the dual world spell, Dragon Spell Hiding Bomber. It's a dual spell for Magic and Dragon World. This card is absolutely insane. You may only cast this card during your opponent's turn. Cast cost, pay 1 gauge, counter speed, Return a monster with 5,000 or less defense to its owner's hand or destroy it. So this is actually really, really freaking good. For a cost of 1 gauge, you can really cause a lot. And then for the final spell is we play 3 Drago Guts. Drago Guts is pretty standard in 5th Omni. It is a cast cost is you take 1 damage, counter speed, and then you gain 3 life. So if you're at 4 life, you can cast this and go to 3 and then gain 3 back, and you'll be at 6, which will still kick Drum's skill off. But you use this to gain some life back. And just remember that if you use this with Drum's skill, when you take the damage and then you gain the 3 life, if it is over 6, you will not kick that skill. Because it checks at the end that this card has resolved completely. So that means that you've taken the damage and gained the life. Otherwise, if you could be at 5 life, take 1 damage, and then go to 7 while still kicking this off, since still technically when you took the damage you were at 4, that would be kind of stupid. It'd be amazing, but that'd be stupid. But so we play 3 of those. So. And then for the last, we play 3 copies of Gargantua Punisher, which is our impact. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what this does, but just for the lulz, I'm going to read it. Cast cost, pay 4 gauge. You may only cast this card if your opponent has 4 life or less, and neither you nor your opponent has a monster in the center. Deal 4 damage to your opponent. This card cannot be nullified, and the damage cannot be reduced. So it's Gao's original impact. Funny story, one of the players, round 2, the Aussie to Haka player I played, he's a friend from Norman from One Stop Anime. Shout out to them, by the way, and the Buddy Fight players they have there. They're a really cool group of guys. I wish they lived closer so we could hang out more often. But anywho, it was game 2. He had his sword equipped. And I think I had a copy of my Buddy Monster and like something else in my hand that wasn't going to do me any good. And I was at 3 gauge, and I was like at 2 life, and he was at 4 life, and like I drew charge and drew this, and I felt so bad. Because he would have gotten me to a game 3, and, you know, who knows what would have happened then. But I felt really bad because Gargantua Punisher, I literally pulled a Gal. I literally drew charge to go to 4 gauge, and then drew Gargantua Punisher. But it was a really great game. He played that deck very, very well. So, there's that. I will show you the side deck now that I have for the deck, even though it's not the same that it was at Houston. So, I'm citing 1 copy of Inverse Tenbu. Inverse Tenbu, size 3, 6,000 power, 3 crits, and 6k defense. His ability, he is an Omni Lord, so you can play 1 copy of him in any world if it's not Dragon World. So, pay 2 gauge. When this card enters the field, choose a monster or item on your opponent's field and put a soul from that card into his or her drop zone and destroy that card. So he's really good because if your opponent has one of those monsters that have 2 gauge in it, you can just call this, target it to remove a soul from it, and then destroy it, which will take care of the soul, and then you can attack with this. And you can still have him on the field because he is still an armor dragon. You can still have your buddy monster and show on the field, so you can really get rid of him. I really want more copies of this card, but unfortunately I have 1 right now. 2 copies of Golden Dragon Shield. This is just a really good side card right now because there are so many ways that your opponent can deal massive amounts of damage to you, either through attack or just from effect damage. And I was playing Flying Dragon Shield in here for a while, but the problem was I only had 1 copy of Gold Dragon Shield, and I really don't like to play just one ofs, but got another Gold Dragon Shield, so play 2. It's pay 1 gauge. The next time you'd be dealt damage, damage would be dealt to you this turn. It is reduced to 0. So it's either through attack or effect. It's not just attack like Flying Dragon Shield is. This is the card I wish I cited at Houston and didn't, and that is 3 copies of Battle Deity Robo Silver Rabbit. Pretty much the rest of my side deck is Generic World. So, cast cost, pay 1 gauge. When this card enters the field, you may put a soul from a card on the field into the drop zone, or destroy a spell in your opponent's field. This would have come in so much handy against the Guardian matchup, and I don't know why I didn't cite it, but I'll never make that mistake again. 2 copies of Barbed Wire. Again, I already have enough. I do have a lot of weapon rest ability with Drago Desperate, but I wanted a little extra. And if the deck didn't have Drago Desperate, this would be a 4-of in the sideboard. Just because it freezes Dragon Force, it freezes Hero World, so it normally freezes their big hitters. So, and then 2 copies of Sharpness Field. Sharpness Field is a new card. It's a set spell. All monsters on you and your opponent's field get plus 1,000 power, but it prevents any monster from being returned to the hand. So it really freezes 72 pillars because they can't bounce for Enfeverate Teacher Asmodai. So really screws them over there. So anyway, guys, that is my 5th Omni deck profile. A lot of fun. It's still my favorite deck to play. Because I still love Drum to Pieces. I'm really looking forward to the new support in the next set. We're getting another 5th Omni size 3 monster, and there's a lot of good generic spells in that's going to be insane. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. I'm going to be bringing you Aster finally soon. I'm almost done with the deck. I'm going to be updating Abigail once the new stuff comes out. I did originally do an Abigail deck profile for you guys, but I deleted it because the new support comes out like next week. So there is going to be a lot of more buddy fight stuff coming, so stay tuned for that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and as always, if there is a video you'd like to see, feel free to leave a request down below, and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends, and I'll see you next time.